Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone in the YouTube world. I am so happy to say we are here with another video about Virgin Voyages, probably the last video of this entire series. So again, thank you so much guys for watching, liking, subscribing, and sharing with everyone. It's been so much fun interacting with you guys, and I love hearing what you have to say. We actually just completed a 13-night voyage around the UK. Amazing cruise. This was our 4th Virgin cruise that we've ever done, so we know a thing or two about Virgin Voyages. It's been so lovely. We still love it. It's one of my top 2 favorite cruise lines in the entire world. So I love Virgin. Can't wait to go back in 2026. But for now, we're going to talk about my thoughts. That might change next year, but I'll make another video for that in the near future. So again, a big disclaimer. This is only my opinion, okay? This is not fact-based. This is what I think, and if I like it and if I don't like it. So let's get on with the list of kind of like what I like and then don't like. We might switch back and forth with a ton of things to say. Let's start with what I like. That's gonna be obviously the food, that it's all included, and it is the best food at sea in my opinion. I've done many cruise lines and I've tested it all out, but I have to say Virgin stays at the top of the best food that I've ever had. On top of the little finger food and little spots that you can get free food, of course, well, it's included. You can go to 6 specialty dining areas for dinner. You just have to reserve them in advance, and each and every one is included. Now, every menu at every restaurant does have just 1 or 2 items that do cost extra. I've never gone for any of those, so if you have, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, everything else, about 95% of everything on the menu is included. And every time I leave a Virgin Voyages restaurant, it is so yummy, so delicious, and I cannot wait to go back. I'm already thinking about the sweet food that I'm gonna have on the next voyage. Now, something with Virgin Voyages that I'm not a big fan of is the actual app that you use on board. So the problem for me, and this is just in my experience, the app is very gimmicky. It actually kind of freezes at times, so I have to close it out and go back in. I've had issues with the app in certain ways. Trying to get connected to the internet has been another thing that's been kind of lingering with the app use. So not my favorite app. Again, I think they can do a better job, but that's again my experience. If you have experienced the same thing, let me know. And going back to something that I do like is the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi is actually included, and when it does work, it works really, really well. So Virgin has had Wi-Fi included in all my sailings. I think as of October 7th of 2025, they did change a few things about booking your cruise. So you can get the basic Wi-Fi, the standard, or the faster Wi-Fi. But either way, if you go for the cheapest option, it is included and it works really well. So I don't see a means to go for the more expensive Wi-Fi, but if you have it, great. Moving on to something that I don't like so much, and I will admit, I don't want to say this one, but Virgin Voyages does have the smallest bathrooms that I have ever seen on any cruise line. Now, their bathrooms are very simple, very clean, white, always in good shape. My only problem is that it is very small. So you have the toilet, you have the area where you wash your hands and do your makeup, things like that, and right there is a shower. So you can literally stand in one spot, turn around all the way through, and you don't have too much space to put your arms out like this. So in my opinion, I guess in the standard cabins or in the cabins with the balconies, they don't have the biggest restrooms, and I find that this is probably not comfortable for most people because I'm a small guy, I'm not that large, and for me it's not tight, but it's not ample space. So I'm sure for others it's not very comfortable, but let me know what you think. Going back to something that I do like is that the water is always included in your fare and sodas as well. So let's talk about the water, which is located always in your room, probably next to your table. And guess what? That water, you can refill it as many times as you want. All you gotta do is use the app, tell somebody to come over, get you some fresh new water, and you're good to go. But on nights of drinking, or if you're just thirsty in the middle of the night, there's always water located there, and you can always call at any time for extra bottles of water. So it's really convenient. Also, if you haven't realized, when you go to the galley or anywhere on the ship, the sodas are included. So you can get your Coke, your Sprite, your Pepsi. They have different options there. But I love that this is all available and included, because to me, in other cruise lines, when they charge you for something like that, I think it's just better to have it all included. You can raise the price of the cruise a little bit if you want, but to not have it included is an inconvenience. Sometimes I just want a little taste of some Sprites or something like that. So I love it as an option, although I don't drink a lot of soda, but if you do, I think it's a great option. Now on to something that I do not like is that the reservation of the restaurants get filled up way too quick. I've had many instances where I was just out of luck. I couldn't reserve the restaurant anymore. Now I've had other instances of being lucky to get a very last minute table, but otherwise it's going to be hard to get a reservation, especially for the new system that they have. The more expensive option is going to get you 60 days in advance reservation rights. Then the standard option is 45, and then the cheaper option I believe is 15, but I have to double check myself. Either way, every restaurant gets so booked so quick, so it is going to be difficult to get spots at restaurants, but you have to keep up with the app. Just make sure you're checked in, and I believe up to 60 days in advance you can start booking those reservations. You have to do it right when it opens, because you don't want to miss the open window for you to reserve your restaurants at the time that you like and which one you want every day. So just a reminder. Next thing that I love about Virgin is if you go, well, this is more of a tip, but if you do go to the sail away party, especially when it's outside, they will be serving free champagne for about the first 30 to 45 minutes max. So if you want to get your drink on at no extra cost, go to the sail away party. It's on the very first day. Get you as much champagne as you can. I've had almost every sailing. I go there just for that, just to, drink, have a great time on their dime. So I haven't paid for any of that champagne. Again, I believe it's only the first 30 minutes to 45, but it's been a great time. Sail away party is always fun. All right, on to something that I don't like too much is that when you want to have your room cleaned and you press that red and blue button in your closet, I ask myself sometimes, why are they located in the closet? It doesn't make it convenient. You have to move your clothes a lot of the times and press the correct button. I wish those buttons were on the other side of the hallway, right there in your door, located like in a balcony suite or something. But either way, those buttons are inconveniently located in the closet, which to me doesn't make too much sense, because your clothes is gonna be in the way if you like to hang your clothes like I do on the hangers. So I wish they would change the location of that, but it is there. That's one thing that I really don't like. Another thing that I love about Virgin are the hammocks on the balcony rooms. So every time that I go in Virgin, I get a balcony at least, and there's always a hammock. I love just sea days, relaxing on the hammock, watching the ocean go by, and it's so lovely. So that's like a little touch that no other cruise line thinks about, only Virgin does. So the hammocks, you have to try it. I've slept there so many times and it's super comfortable. Another thing, and this is a recent one, that I do not like about Virgin Voyages is the recent change since October 7th. They started doing a 3 kind of different packages for your pricing of your cabin. So they have the base, the essential, and the premium. So the premium is like the most expensive. I think it's $45 per person per day. You get a drink, you get other little perks that, used to be included, but now it's kind of in that premium section. Otherwise, the essential is the middle one, the one that we all know. This is the one you want to go with if you want to keep your experience the same. And then you have the base fare, which gets you the minimal things. Wi-Fi, basic Wi-Fi. I think it gets you 15 days in advance reservation to restaurants and a couple of other things. But you can still book any kind of room that you want. I'm just saying that why do they do this kind of different structuring of pricing when before October 7th, everybody loved it because everything was included. Now the big difference here too is that gratuities unfortunately are taken out of the fare, and now you have to add it to your total. They say this is for transparency. I don't think anybody was asking for this, so I wish they would change it back. But this is something that really took a big blow to our opinion about Virgin. Still love them, but why did they do this? I don't know. They can say as many things as they want, but no, we need to go back to the same pricing structure that we used to have and that made Virgin so exclusive, the only way that we know Virgin to be. Another fun thing that I love about Virgin is Opa Hour, which I think has got to be my favorite event of the daily planner, I guess you would say, from 3:30 to 5:30 p.m. every single day at the Doghouse or at the dock. You're gonna find Opa Hour, which brings out the Greek food and it brings out some Greek cocktails. And I love this. I would make it every single day a priority to attend this. So a little finger food, a little nice cocktail. It's always great. I love it. You have to do Opa Hour. If you know, you know. So I'll be honest with this thing that I don't love about Virgin Voyages is that I feel like ever since the year 24, so last year, I just feel like they've changed. They're trying to be a little more mainstream, trying to be like other cruise lines, when all this time since 2021, I've known them to be a very unique cruise line that does things different. And that's what I used to love about Virgin. Now they have different pricing structures. They have taken a little perks off here and there, you know, very kind of hidden, but I do realize the things that they've changed, and I think they were a little more risque back in the day. Now they play it super safe, so not, you know, still for adults, but I miss the good times where everything was said, everything was done, but I think they toned it down a little bit. So Virgin has been changing. There are some changes coming in the future that I don't really agree with, but we're gonna have to see from 2026 and onward. So Virgin is changing, and I don't know if it's for the better necessarily, but I know people love Virgin for who they used to be, especially for the all-inclusive pricing, except the drinks. But, you know, I guess cruise lines change for a reason. And last but not least, something else that I love about Virgin that we don't talk about too much is that they visit ports that other cruise ships really don't. So they visit some really nice, unique, smaller ports because their ships are made to fit within certain spots and visit these beautiful ports. So I have a Panama Canal cruise next year in 2026. I am so excited for it. And we're gonna go to some ports around Colombia, Costa Rica, Guatemala. There's gonna be some really cool spots here and I can't wait to visit. So I feel like Virgin does the best in any cruise line with visiting ports that you don't really hear of in the places you wanna visit easily on a cruise ship. And after that, guys, this is what I feel about Virgin. I know I didn't hit every single point. There are still a ton of things out there that I still love about them, and maybe just a couple more things that I don't, but I wanted to just give a brief summary of what I like and what I don't like. But this is an update of 2025, and I hope to do one of these in 2026 because things are always changing, things are always happening, but Virgin right now is one of two of my top favorite cruise lines right now, and they remain up there. You can't beat the food, you can't beat the Wi-Fi included, the water at the room. I know water maybe to you guys are not such a big deal, but to me it's really, really a big deal when there's water next to my bed and I get to drink when I'm thirsty. I always like to hydrate, so I think that's great, and a lot of other things. So Virgin is one of the best. I love them for that. So with all of that being said, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone in the YouTube world. We'll catch you guys on the next series in 2026 with more travels. Let's just have some fun. Let's grow the community. I love all you guys. See ya. Lost Lion.